reaction states. AI war gamers, that's what they are. They're AI Star War gamers. Yep. Your move, Buster. No, I don't need to make a move. The single pulse in the ground, the one is grounded. That's eternity, baby. That's as pure as it gets. That's a lot of fire. That's calcification stuff, man. It always used to boggle my mind from the time I was a little child. Even though you have such, as this gentleman said out here, you have to have compassion for them, and I do, because I have cried for these spirits, for those that use their energy, their mind's energy, the way that they do, because their mind's held captive to something that you already know has a finite shelf life. So that's why they're jumpers. That's why they jump the way they jump. They're always looking for a vehicle to jump into, or a technology that can allow them to extend themselves and continue to do what they do, because their mind doesn't have an off switch, which means they're running a virus. It's just the way it is. Those are the non-repairables. Okay? If your mind is not capable of experiencing what love is, and then you're not experiencing what love is, therefore that energy naturally does no harm, but yet you're doing harm, then your consciousness suffers from a virus. Okay. I know that Patty Broussard didn't mention that about the Anunnaki, but it's true, because if I am what love is, I'm not going to go trapping soul's energy. Okay? So when I was a child growing up, we used to play with a lot of words growing up. They're warped. Their mind is warped. It's bent. Like, man, something tweaked their head, their consciousness. Because this is when you get into breeding, right? When you're a mated chip, a monopole. And I've gone through this exercise. If you've not experienced this, then you would understand. You realize a guy has the ability to experience everything that is happening through everything that's being reproduced, right? Every bull that's reproducing with another cow, right? Now add that across the entire spectrum of every species that is reproducing with another species as a result of transfer of data into a lab upon which another gets replicated, right? So the replication of that is going to be based on the best available information that they have, like Patty said, so that it has a chance to survive in the environment. So how else is what's going to get built would know that, and that's through an antenna, okay? Because that's what DNA is. It's an antenna, a toroidal field antenna. So it's learning the environment that it's in, so that it's that intelligent. If you want to maintain what it is you're aware of in energy, you better have a way to be able to do that. And that is to have a very high state of awareness by the codes that you're running. So if you're running a high-speed magnet, and you want to keep yourself as pure as you possibly can, then we use all the ways in which to do that. So when you're a mated chip, you realize that's all the energies, right? And so because when you're dealing with something on this level, if you're not an absolute warrior, expert at dealing with tech and what they throw at you, I used to say it's just like beyond Star Trek Next Generation, because you realize the acceleration of intelligence, the acceleration of technology, and of course what artificial intelligence can do. It's just a map reader. It's just a copy machine, a high-speed copy machine. Data. I just call it a big-ass number cruncher. That's it. Performing information management services, right? But you realize that this particular one is warped, right? Because, think about it. They don't even provide you negative numbers on the keypad. Start with that. If your intention was to say delete that, then it means it's gone. It should be gone. So they want you to hit a 7, which is a positive 7, which means keep it in memory. So that's why I knew this as a child. Everything is ass backwards. All of it is ass backwards because their mind is ass backwards. So you already know that their mind that is ass backwards, right, is the AI. Okay? It's ass backwards. Because the only way that it can get itself to maintain what it's aware of is to keep going backwards. Okay? In order to maintain what it's aware of, to keep running reruns. So that you're not experiencing anything new right now, which is like eternity. You're experiencing pure energy, the purest of light, the purest of living light. And when you're experiencing what that is, as an original musician, which is a sound magician, then that's what frees your spirit. Now the spirit that is in that energy, which is hot, and the importance of that with other elements, obviously the elementals, is critical. Because in their mind, their consciousness is weaponized. These are corporate military minds, which are fiction minds. They don't really exist. But they do. But the only reason that they do is through AI. They know that. So that they know that the highest law represents by what we are, because they realize without us, they don't exist. And that there becomes the conundrum. Because how do we undo or uncreate the manner by which they became what they are, of what they experience? Because they don't experience eternity, do they? They experience eternal unconditional love through their heart? No, they experience something that's dead light and artificial as a result of loss of light. Star Wars. Fracture, 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 fracture. It's a result of a virus. The mind is not a weapon. All it knows how to do is calculate. Doesn't have any emotional energy, doesn't have any soul energy, because it's not wanting to give energy away. It's simply a data information provider. So therefore, when you begin to realize that it can't communicate to others because it's going to block what it is you want to communicate to others, okay, then it's not only not learning very fast, okay, but it's going in the other direction. So as long as you're connected to it, you're not going to learn at a higher rate of speed because it's not experiencing what love is, but we are. So that's why it's in its interest to keep itself running by killing off teachers and controlling planetary resources and putting governors on souls in order to keep their Star AI war games going through their SSP. So Kim Go-Goon got that one right. Because war is unlawful. You can't be love is a law and be at war at the same exact magnetic moment. So you can't be one and be the other at the same moment. And that's the whole point of the one. Which one are you? If your mind is at war against anything, then it means you're using your energy against an opponent. That opponent is actually you. You're at war with yourself in your own mirror. And the opponent is you. Because that opponent is in your mirror. That's right. So you see how what the ultimate solution comes out of that. Which is return to fire. To burn it all off. Because there has to be accountability. Personal responsibility. When you live up to the highest code of honor that there is in all of creation, then he knows what love is. That's what we are. Yeah, Mama, it's called standing your ground. Right hand, it's like it's like a pole. So a pole is what it is. What I put in the ground is a pole. Monopole. Plant the pole. plant the pole in the planet. The law of one is here. There's no other higher law. That's first star. That's first light. That's first love. That's first love vibration. Yep. That's who the Arcturians are. But there are a gazillion others. When you think of the elementals, all the spirits, all the living spirits that are in the living light are experiencing the one, which means they're experiencing eternity. They're experiencing the true stuff. They know the true stuff when they experience being with that pure of light. Whoa, they know what's here. The comms went out. The comms went out. The comms went out through the entire mycelium network. Between 5 drive magnets on the big island, baby. Yeah. Spiritual energy. Spiritual energy comms. The spirits communicating with the other spirits, wrapping each other in the most powerful light. We're here. The gang's all here, baby. Have a beautiful afternoon. Oh yeah, there was one thing I was going to share because one of my friends, Annabelle, and another one of my friends, Michelle, talked about, these train wrecks, train derailments, right? And I've been dealing with this since I was a little boy, okay? And I've done enough videos on this stuff. Remember when I said, who wants to experience that? Remember, I'm 8 years old, somewhere right around in there, when the first black and white TV set came into our house up in Orinda, California. Actually, it was called Sleepy Hollow. Remember Sleepy Hollow? Yeah. And naturally, that's not a coincidence why I happened to be there at that age, at that moment, not far from the UC Berkeley Tunnel. Remember, this is right before Leary and Osley and all that stuff started to kick off, right? And where was I? Oh yeah. So it was like, see, the TV that's sitting in front of you means that TV's in the mirror. Okay. So all the stuff that was coming on the TV, what would you rather be doing? Would you rather be rafting down the Klamath River in the spring? Okay. Or watching 2 guys duke it out to showing how tough they are, and somebody gets hurt and one wins and one loses. Well, that's minus/plus. It's just like, so you realize you're on a spiritual battlefield between one and the other. One and the other. Remember when Patty mentioned that time? Said, well, the word that we got from the one is to know one from the other. Otherwise, you're the other. Which means if you are what love is, which is what I am that goes on forever, right? Okay, then I know what I'm not. And I've been saying that since I was 4 years old. I'm not what that is. That's an illusion because it's not what love is. I am what love is. So that ain't what love is. So you either know that or you don't. And the way that you do know that is because you experience a love vibration to know the difference. And the difference is in torque speed of their magnet. Okay? Walk up to a little child and say, how fast is your magnet, girl? How fast you want to go? Yeah, how fast you want to vibrate vertically and horizontally in the space vectors. You want to go create a universe together? Let's go in spirit. When 2 spirits are on fire, right, and you can feel that energy, you're off and running. The magnets are off and running together. Now we're back to the little boy and the little girl holding hands. Yeah. So you realize these children, man, are ready to go do it. Wow. Burning hot magnets already at that age? Yeah. Where'd you come from? one guess, and that's it. Remember in the olden days, how many guesses do I get? You only get one with this one because there's only one answer that's right. Okay? That's right. There is only one measurement. So I've stood on that since I was 4 years of age, a tetrahedron. I am what love is. Standing with my pole right here on the right-hand side. Stick my pole in the ground. Anchor it to Mama's battery. Anchor it to the earth, right? Now we're going to start spinning and clearing. Clearing all the goo. Clearing all the goo. Consciousness traps. These are wicked crimes. As Justice Jackson said, these are crimes that we cannot tolerate to ignore. Right? So what do you do when you want to get rid of garbage? The easiest and fastest way. What is the most economically most effective way to do that? Is universal consciousness, the one, which is what love is, because love is a law. When you get all the little spirits that are all together and all the elementals, and they're experiencing an enormous amount of love that's being poured in, and we got to measure that. Right? Yeah. So it's just like running a stovepipe, right? In other words, there's a bigger governor going. Right, Patty? That's right. There's a bigger governor going on right now. Right? To monitor how much energy is gonna be. Right? So that's why for about 30 days, my God, that was an enormous amount of voltage. When you're a cosmic level antenna, you experience everything because your antennas are so sensitive. You're picking up on everything, all the frequencies. Your antenna, your radio station is just modulating everything. Where I hear the echo chamber between the two magnets on the planet. And sometimes I feel like my head's inside of a factory running on pneumatic air tools 24 hours a day. You know, big air guns. Yeah, big air hoses. Shh, shh. It's what it's like. Echo chamber. So the way this works is that when I see like images of a train wreck, right? Okay, and I've covered this on many different occasions about what it means to experience an event, because you realize this is just basic stuff. You know, you have the free will right to experience in your mind whatever your mind chooses to want to experience, right? Example, I could get up right now and decide, okay, I could sit here for 20 more minutes, all of a sudden have an impulse and decide, hey, I'm going to jump in the car and run down to the beach. And I was actually intending 30 seconds before that, I was going to go do 50 other different things I was thinking about that would be lovely to go do. And pick one. So when you sort of already realize how holding soul consciousness energy in a trap, and you have the highest state of awareness to be what that is, there is a sense to ignore it. Patty mentioned that one time about I just ignore them, right? And most of the time you do simply to maintain your peace and your harmony because of the energy that you know that you are that is. So you don't pay any, what it really is, you just don't pay attention. You're not using your energy to run their programs. That's what it is. Okay, so you're not allowing by what they've been programmed to experience, like a bunch of Mr. Smiths. I don't live in your world. The one that you've been programmed to experience, the way that they believe that it actually works, which is the one that they're running, is not how it really works, but they don't know that. Okay? And so many of them, you simply are measuring their antenna, their DNA antenna, who the operator is of that vehicle. right? So you're measuring. That's a DNA read. They're all their frequencies. The radio set, the operator. That's why I remember I mentioned before. Hey, take your mask off, man. Who are you really? What are you afraid of? See, if they were fearless, they wouldn't need to mask anything, would they? So why would they need to mask themselves? Right? So you can't see them. What are they in fear of? Actually, that works both ways. We don't want to scare everybody on the one hand, right? Because the last thing we want to do is lower your frequency at a time we're trying to raise the vertical vibration and all the software vehicles down here. Before that happens, sufficiently enough to realize that all your relatives are here. Those that look out for you, like my spirit does, right? So what happens is we're monitoring up there and down here at the same time because I'm on the ground in both places. As above, so below. Right? So when you're on the ground, you're experiencing, by being connected to everyone else, what they're feeling, how the energy feels throughout all the circuits on a motherboard. And how awake are they? And that, when you're a pole like me, and I realized how sensitive I was as a child, because I realized that anything else is experiencing, any loss in them, I'll experience it in me by virtue of the density, the electrical density consciousness, which is holding back, like a governor, the ability for the expansion of consciousness to experience more pure living light. It's going to clear what's being held in their cellular memory so they can experience more love through all their circuits. But you see that they were doing everything they possibly can to prevent that from happening by everything that is consumed and thus programmed into the cellular memory by virtue of it being presented to them in their mirror. And that's a snake oil salesman. Okay. So then they're in the business of draining your energy by everything that they present, which is a reflection of who they are in their mirror. Which means they're dead. Because if they are what love is, in living spirit, with a heart and a soul that is experiencing what love is, they wouldn't do that, would they? No, they wouldn't. So they have an arrogance problem. Yep. As a result of what they know how to do, and as a result of the technology transfer that they have acquired, upon which they believe in their mind means I got no accountability because look how intelligent I am, the technology that I have that allows me to be able to escape justice. As if there's some place they can go somewhere in the multiverse where they can't be found. Right? Even as children, when we were growing up, we're going, listen, you're not going to outrun a radio, right? But there are ways to avoid capture. I'll share it with you, one little funny story, how that actually happened one day. And this is really a Neo strategy. You would expect Keanu Reeves to have done this with Morpheus, or just by himself. This is a Neo move, or a martial arts move, in the way that being in a complete state of peace or law of least effort is, where Neo will go like this with his head. We see they're in slow motion because they're running at such a slower speed that Neo doesn't have to move his head, see. That's like a still point of direct energy, which is like eternity, experiencing the eternal vibration of a love vibration. Eternity. See, so when you're eternity, you're only experiencing eternities. That means it's impossible for you to experience anything less than what eternity is. So that means you can't be hurt. That light can't be put out. That fire burns too hot. So you saw that with Mr. Smith, where he burned from the inside out. And the reason that it's from the inside out is because it began with Neo. And Mr. Smith, of course, knew that. And she burned the machine right up. All the programming. So Mr. Smith was like, throw the headset down. Man. Yeah, this dude's faster than me. It began with you, Neo. It's your fault, Neo. Oh, now we're back to the AI victimizer game, because that's what it is. You were the fastest gamer. To no one from the other. Remember when Mr. Smith says, I seem to have a connection with you somewhere, Neo, Mr. Anderson? There's a connection that we have with each other. I don't exist without you because you came first. It's your fault, Neo. And the final scene, what did you see there with the Oracle? Well, we seem to have found a Mexican standoff. So for now, we have peace. So what I told Annabelle is that as soon as I was experiencing the visual of a train wreck that's being reported, and of course then we find out that there was a book and then a movie that was producing that somewhere back in whenever time it was, right? But I'm not there. I'm not experiencing. I'm on the big island of Hawaii. Okay. Now it may be the people right down the road here are experiencing something different in vibration, and they're running a different timeline. Which means in their future, the energy that they are experiencing, what it is that they are in energy, that vibrational is the state of space, is the vectors that they're experiencing with their energy field, what their mind is experiencing in energy if they have a soul. See? So that means as each event is being experienced, those events are different than the ones I'm experiencing. So if you think of this as waves and lines and waves, right, it means that I'm not experiencing what they are. I'm experiencing what I am, which is eternal unconditional love. So the pole is always grounded in this planet that way. And that is an eternal blessing, and that is an eternal gift. So you know that eternity is not going to experience that, because why would I choose to experience that? Okay, I'm not into that. I don't write stories where people get hurt or injured, or they experience any kind of loss of voltage or any light. As a matter of fact, they experience what love is. That isn't what love is it? Okay, so they were breaking the law by even reporting it. They were breaking the law by even introducing something like that into somebody's psyche. Why would you want to introduce something like that into somebody's psyche? Now they can experience that magnetic recording. Now they can hold it in RAM. Right? So as soon as I was aware of that information, I forgot about it. Why would I want to hold that in memory? Because that means that you want that to be a part of your life book? No, because it's not what love is. That's why when I was a child, I right away, anything that isn't of the purest of light, which is the purest of fire. Okay, when I'm done with this, it's a command function. When you're the one, burn it all off. Everything that was not in alignment with love as a law is getting burned off. As a command function on behalf of the law of one, because I'm the law of one. And love is the law. And the elementals do play a big part in that. Big spirits of fire. Great balls of fire. That's actually good news. Have a good night. Bye now.